G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope you are super well. Today/tonight I am down here at the soccer pitch because, well, it's all about competition. Yes, around about this time last year I released the biggest opus that I've ever created. It was the Canon R6 II versus the Nikon Z5 II versus the Sony A7 IV. That video, almost 2 hours long, took something like 4 to 6 weeks to shoot and then another 4 weeks to edit. It was enormous, but a year later it continues to get views and it is my biggest video ever. And I would think maybe by the end of this year it might be somewhere near 200,000 views, and that is a heap from my perspective. And thus, in 2026, it's my plan to embark upon something similar. In the last 6 months, I have picked up the brand new Canon R6 III on your left, the Nikon Z6 III in the middle, and the Sony A7 V on the right. And this rounds out the mid-tier of camera releases from the big three. They're full frame, they're fairly high megapixel, and they're all pretty damn fast. But what this video is about is sharing with you ultimately what the differences are between these cameras, and depending on budget, use case, hand sizes, the type of cards you want to use, lens choices, autofocus, raw video recording, and so much more. All of these cameras are a little bit different. They're the same in many ways, but they're also different in many ways. And it's not just about the camera, is it? It's about the ecosystem around it. It's about firmware. It's about support. It's about lenses. It's about so many things. Now, the reason for this video and having this shout out is it's super important to me that I have as many good ideas as possible. And the best way to get as many good ideas as possible is to reach out to you, the audience. I certainly can't think of everything that's possible to do. Now, I have to do all of this within reason. The reality is I can't spend more than a month or two creating this entire project. It really does take an enormous amount of time. And as I've done one of these before, I think this one will be quicker just by default because I have a better idea of what I'm doing. I have a better idea of how to put together. I didn't even really have an idea of how I was going to assemble the whole thing. What would it look like? The previous one was a first. It ended up being almost 2 hours long. There were versions of it that were an hour and versions of it that were over 2 hours. But ultimately, that video that's there today, I'm very proud of, and I'm happy with the way it was presented. Now, of course, not everybody's going to agree with everybody's outcomes. I can say to you very clearly and unequivocally, my goal is to use these cameras in real-world use cases. There's no plan to shoot test charts, to get lenses that everyday people buy, because it's everyday people who are the majority of people that end up looking at a video that has something like 150 to 200,000 views. That's everybody. It's not just professionals and serious enthusiasts. And thus I want to cover a broad range of topics. So please, anything that you can think of, throw it in the comments below and I will do my very best. But some tests I won't be able to perform. Some of the harder things for me to pull off, for example, is getting high-end lenses for all three mounts. It's just simply not possible for a channel of this size. Even hiring them is more expensive than you think. And if you're thinking about hiring a 70 to 200 for, say, 2 different mounts, because I do own one for the Z mount, and I'll want to hold on to that lens for a week or so, that could be costing in the hundreds, if not starting to creep into the thousands of dollars. It's simply not possible for this channel. Now, of course, if you do want to assist with any of that, you're very welcome to click on the PayPal link below and buy me a cup of coffee or two, and that will absolutely help towards the creation of this video. It's critical to me. I do the best job I can, but I can only do what's possible within the budgets of this channel. All the time that goes into this video is essentially volunteer time, and unless I find or get a sponsor for it, that's how it is. So we're talking a month to 2 months of my time to bring this to you. So my time, on top of any hardware purchases, it makes it pretty difficult. And obviously, I've already purchased the R6 III, the A7 V, and the Z6 III. And those alone are more than $10,000 here in Australia between the three of them. So when it comes to lenses, I'll do my best, but that's probably the hardest threshold for me to cross. And what I do try and do is get essentially the same lens. So whether it's a 24 to 72.8 or whether it's a 50mm 1.4 or whatever, I try and get the same lens from each brand, even if one brand chooses to make a better one and another brand chooses to make a worse one. And can I say, I don't particularly know when it comes to Canon, of which I only own, I think, 2 or 3 first-party Canon lenses. I don't know which are their better or worse lenses. For example, I decided to do the previous video across all of these cameras with the 24 to 105/24 to 120 because I already owned 2 of those lenses before I started shooting the video in Sony and Z-mount. And I purchased the Canon one, which was an expensive lens. It's up there at the higher end of the spectrum for that sort of lens. And quite frankly, it didn't perform to match the price tag nor where it seems to fit in Canon's world. So that was deeply surprising to me. And these sort of curveballs can exist. That's just an asterisk within this video that I'll do my best when it comes to lenses. I will reach out to Sony and Canon, and perhaps they will choose to help me with this video, who knows. They certainly shouldn't be afraid of anything. The R6 III and the Sony A7 V are both absolutely spectacular cameras. For example, none of these two can match the fact that this is shooting 7K open gate. Neither of these two cameras do that. And of course, there's so much more to it than that. But that's just one example of where, when you spread out all the points across, as I said in that previous video, there might be 1,000 metrics that you can measure a camera by. When you spread it across all those metrics, it's hard to know which will win. For example, in the previous video, I did things like battery tests at standard video codecs, like 4K 24 frames, 4K 25 frames, that sort of thing. That's probably the codec that the majority of people will use. I can't do all of them. The video would be literally 25 hours long if I did every codec that every camera does. All right, everybody, well, this is the shout out. I will begin production on this video in the coming months. Again, I would love for you in the comments to give me any ideas of things that you'd like to see me test. I will do my very best, and my apologies in advance if I can't do what you ask. And again, to reiterate, exotic lens or even expensive lens ideas may well be difficult. And like the last video, I'll probably end up choosing 2 lenses across all of these 3 mounts. So that ends up being 6 lenses. So 6 lenses alone is quite expensive. And will I repeat any of the previous lenses? I might, just simply because I own them. I do have this new lens, which I think is really good idea from Canon. This is a 45mm 1.2. Now, this is a budget lens. It's budget, but it's a great idea. And so that kind of, to me, it opens up the field a little bit. The problem with the 45 is there's not a matching lens, there's not a matching focal length, so that makes the comparison of images harder. So there's a lot to think about, and you really do want the focal lengths to be the same. All right, everybody, would love your input in the comments below. Again, if you want to support this video through PayPal or any other way, please do, links below. It's been so good to see you, and if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again. So please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right, bye for now. And yes, we really are here at the Oval. You can check out the background.